Hey guys, it's Jen, and I am back with another Sunday Script and Uplift video. I'm doing another holiday quote. I thought that since we're getting close to Christmas that it would be fun for the next few weeks to do an uplifting or inspiring Christmas quote. So this one comes from Miracle on 34th Street, and it says, "If you can't accept anything on faith, then you're doomed for a life dominated by doubt." And that is the quote that I am going to script today. I'm working on some Strathmore Bristol paper. Let me just show you what that. And it's just a smooth surface paper that's good for finished artwork if you're using dry media, so markers and things like that. And so I'm just going to go ahead, and I have to do it the same way that I did last time. I can't talk and write at the same time, so I'll go ahead and video it and then voice it over for you with some of my thoughts about the quote. So I'm going to first sketch it out, and I've gone ahead and sped up the part where I am using my pencil to kind of sketch out the quote, but I will slow it down when I get to the actual brush script, so you can kind of watch that a little bit more closely if you want to. I'm going to do the words faith and doubt a little bit larger because those are the words I want to emphasize. And so while I'm just writing this out with a pencil, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the quote. So with Christmas just around the corner, again, I thought I would do a quote from an awesome movie. This is, like I said before, from Miracle on 34th Street. And it is a great reminder. So let me just read you the quote one more time. "If you can't accept anything on faith, then you're doomed for a life dominated by doubt." So this is a quote that my friend Tracy suggested. And as I've been thinking about this quote for the past week and a half or so, I've been thinking a lot about faith and what it means. And this quote from the classic Christmas movie is obviously referring to having faith that Santa Claus is real. That's the whole kind of premise of that movie, is teaching that little girl about Santa Claus. And that's an awesome lesson. So something that you can't see or you don't have proof of can in fact be real. And I've mentioned in some of my other videos, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert, moms with kids around. My daughter, who's 9, does not believe in Santa Claus anymore. This Christmas is her first Christmas without that belief in Santa. And as I've been thinking about how to make things magical for her, and honestly thinking about ways to explain to her why Santa Claus is important and why we, kind of tell our kids about Santa Claus, I've been thinking about, what to tell her about that. So real quick, let me just take a second to say that you can see as I'm writing this out, I wrote it out first quickly, and then I'm going back in now and kind of trying to see where I can fit letters together, where some letters come down. That's called a descender, like the G or a Y or something like that, where they can fit in to the other spaces, and where the letters come up, that's called ascenders, where those can kind of nestle in next to other words. So you can see that. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Pentel color brush, and this is in black. I'll link to all the things that I use in the video description below. But I'm going to go ahead and use that today, and I love it. It's a really nice it's a real brush tip. And I'll just do the large words first and then go back in and fill in the smaller words. So as I was mentioning, this part is real time. So just be aware of that. This is how fast I'm actually going. And let me get back to what I was talking about, why we explain to our kids about Santa Claus and what's the importance of Santa, and why it's important to teach them that principle of faith. So I've been thinking about this, and I've been talking with different family members about how Malia found out about Santa Claus, and kind of thinking about what we can do and keep the magic alive for her for Christmas. And because I still feel like Christmas is magical for me, so I want to give her a little bit of that. So I was thinking of the real meaning of Christmas. I thought of somebody else that requires faith. Someone who gave a gift without expecting anything in return, just as Santa Claus does. And I thought about how wonderful that Santa Claus, for me, can represent Jesus Christ, another person who requires incredible faith, and the reason why we celebrate Christmas. His name is right in the word, Christmas. And so, as my daughter is thinking about things a little bit differently this year, I'm grateful for an opportunity to kind of teach her about what faith is and about the true meaning of Christmas for me and for us, and that although Santa Claus, he's not an actual person, but the idea of him is very real, and the wonderful selfless acts of service that he gives to kids throughout the world is a real idea, and that he represents Christ, which is the true meaning of Christmas. And I'm grateful for that opportunity to teach her about that. Another favorite quote of mine goes along with the last half of this quote, the part that says, then you're doomed for a life dominated by doubt. And the quote says, doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith. And I think that is definitely true for me, that I need to doubt the things that I'm doubting before I doubt the things that I believe in, the things that require a little bit of extra effort on my part. For me, faith keeps me going. It's a belief in things hoped for but not seen. And I think that we can all use a little bit of hope in our lives, especially around the holidays. And I hope that that you'll think about maybe what Santa Claus means to you, and even if you don't have children, what kind of magic can you bring to your holiday season, and what do you have faith in? Whether it's Santa Claus or Jesus Christ or God, or whatever else that you can exercise a little bit of faith in something that you can't see, whether it's something that you're hoping for in your life, something that you wish would happen, or something like that, that you can kind of think about how that applies to Christmas and to Santa Claus, and this awesome quote from the movie Miracle on 34th Street, which is just an awesome movie. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been, but it's a great movie, which I will definitely be watching with my daughter this year and talking to her a little bit more about that. I think it's important that as things like this come up in our lives, that we talk to our kids about what it means for them, and it's especially for me important to keep that faith alive in my daughter, even if it's going to be directed a little bit differently. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have to teach her something like that. So those are kind of all of my thoughts about this quote. So for the last little bit of this video, I will just kind of tell you what I'm doing on the quote. So you can see that I'm using this brush pen, and I really love it because you can get a really, really fine point on the tip. And you can, if you kind of push it down a lot or lay it flat on its side, you can get a nice thick stroke. And it's just a really awesome pen, and it is refillable. And I use this brush pen almost more than any other. I just really, really like it. It comes in colors too, but I have a tendency to lean toward the black. So I did want to mention that if you're interested in brush script, that I do have a brush script class available over on my website. You can just go to classes.craftygenschow.com, and if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the ins and outs of brush script, you can definitely learn that in my class there. I also wanted to mention that a lot of what the brush script is about the thicks and thins and the ups and the downs. So I really like with this brush pen that you can see, especially on the word faith, that you can get some really, really thin lines and some really thick lines. And especially on the F, you can see that demonstrated. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I for each week that I do these little quotes, I turn it into a printable for you the next day. So I'm filming this on Sunday, and when you on Monday in my shop, you'll be able to download a printable quote that has this on it. And so you can find last week's quote there as well, and I'll just keep those in my shop indefinitely or until I, need some more space for some other things or something like that. But I just wanted to mention that is in my shop. So you can just go to CraftyJenSchow.com and click on shop at the top, and you'll find those there, and you can download them for free each Monday. And if you don't follow me on social media, I always post on there when these are available. So tomorrow I'll be posting it on my Facebook page, which I'm just Crafty Jen Schow on Facebook if you want to follow me there. On Instagram, I'm Crafty Jen Schow as well, and I'll post in both of those places when this printable is available. And but if not, you can just check in my shop on Monday. And because I am making this into a printable, I digitize most of my brush script lettering that I do, and so there are some flaws and imperfections that you'll see that I messed up a bit. If I was doing this as a finished piece of artwork for somebody, I would have definitely been a little bit more careful and taken a lot more time. But in these Sunday Script and Uplift videos, I didn't want to take too much time so that you didn't have to watch a super long video. But I will be digitizing that and, kind of cleaning it up a little bit. So that's going to complete this quote. And like I mentioned, you can find me on all of these channels if you want to check out some of those free printables, and you can just head to CraftyJenSchow.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed this Sunday Script and Uplift, and I hope that you've been a little bit uplifted today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you soon.